thing is, whatever it is you think you have with this chick, once the thrill wears off, you're still Joel.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the stars who had their characters cut from movies after having already filmed. Whether it was for time, narrative reasons, or scandals, these actors were left on the cutting room floor.
Something festers in the heart of Middle-earth. Something that you have failed to see.
Number 10, Kevin Costner, The Big Chill.
I knew he wasn't happy. That doesn't tell you much. I had no idea how bad it was. I think he purposely wanted to cut off from all of us because he was so unhappy with where he was at.
Getting started in Hollywood isn't easy, so you have to take opportunities when they come. One of the earlier gigs Costner got was as Alex in The Big Chill, a film centered around the aftermath of his character's passing.
I should have known.
How could you know?
Nobody knew. I can't even believe it now.
While it's understandable he wouldn't have had much screen time due to playing a dead guy, there were flashbacks that didn't make the cut. While it wasn't a starring role, it could have potentially been an important chance to add context and depth to both the character and the overall story. However, the director, Lawrence Kasdan, ultimately felt that the idea just wasn't landing. It's not all bad though. Costner was subsequently cast in Kasdan's Silverado, which helped jumpstart the actor's illustrious career.
I'm going to ask you once. Was it self-defense?
Honest to God, he would have killed me.
Number 9, Ellen Pompeo, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Maybe I should get back together with Naomi. She was nice.
Before finding success on television as Meredith Grey, the actress notably also tried her hand at the silver screen. At one point, Pompeo was cast in Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind as a character named Naomi, who had a relationship with protagonist Joel. While the segments were recorded, they were ultimately taken out, despite the screenwriter trying his best to save her role.
The thing is, whatever it is you think you have with this chick, once the thrill wears off, you're still Joel. With the same problems.
From what has surfaced since, we can gather that she would have largely been the opposite of Kate Winslet's Clementine. This definitely could have added an interesting dimension to the story, and to Joel's development. Luckily for Pompeo though, Grey's Anatomy premiered just a year after Eternal Sunshine came out, and she's been booked and busy ever since.
So pick me. Choose me. Love me.
Number 8, Viggo Mortensen, The Purple Rose of Cairo. Considering how much of a household name he is now, it's hard to believe that he had a relatively slower start to his career. Early on, Mortensen was cast in a Woody Allen project, The Purple Rose of Cairo. This could have been his big break, but things didn't quite go to plan.
So it's been bad for you.
Oh, it's been hard for everyone.
According to him, once he was on set, he wasn't given any direction on what to do or say. While he gave it his best shot, he learned once the film was released that he didn't make the cut.
What a shame. It was such a good picture.
It certainly could have been interesting to witness the now seasoned performer handling that situation as a newbie on the big screen though.
Is knowing how to set a broken bone or how to treat a severe burn ridiculous? Knowing how to navigate by the stars in total darkness, that's ridiculous.
Number 7, Ana de Armas, Yesterday.
We were thinking you could write something right now.
Ana de Armas was set to co-star in 2019's Yesterday, a movie about a man, Jack, waking up in a world where the Beatles never existed.
Who?
The Beatles?
The what?
De Armas was going to play Jack's romantic prospect, named Roxanne. The addition including her was shown to a sample audience, who found that their relationship made him seem less likeable. This led to her being removed. However, by that point she was in the trailer that had already been released. A couple of her admirers even sued the studio for false advertisement, with the case eventually being dismissed in 2022. It kind of sounds like something they could make a movie about, doesn't it?
You want a good life? It's not complicated. Tell the girl you love that you love her.
Number 6, Mick Jagger, Fitzcarraldo. The Rolling Stones frontman took the world by storm with his music, but also started dabbling in acting. He notably found a part in a German adventure picture, Fitzcarraldo, as the protagonist's assistant, which would have been an opportunity for him to flex his chops. However, his own star power ended up getting in the way.
Days I am determined to prove a villain and hate the idle pleasures of these days.
The band was nearing a peak and were thus set to tour. This conflict with filming, which had itself been pushed back for unrelated reasons, so the movie maker made the call to erase Jagger's part entirely.
My friends, I think we will continue.
While that wasn't the singer's big acting break, he's since been able to show off his skills in other projects.
I like the reminder that they bring. I should never let a thing's worth obscure its value.
Number 5. Jenna Malone, Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice. Considering this film had a runtime of roughly 2.5 hours in the theatrical cut, it makes sense that scenes, and even characters, would be erased throughout the process. However, that probably didn't stop many from being disappointed when scientist Janet Clyburn, portrayed by Jenna Malone, didn't make the final cut.
And this is what makes you such a good reporter. Stuff like this still shocks you.
If you've seen her work in things like the Hunger Games franchise or 2005's Pride and Prejudice, you know that she has the chops to nail any role.
We passed Sarah Sims in her carriage, so I took off my glove and let my hand just rest so she might see the ring. Then I bowed and smiled like an...
Unfortunately, we only got to see her appearance in the Ultimate Edition cut of the flick. While the role wasn't huge, people still got to enjoy a glimpse of what she could bring to a superhero series.
The inside of the chair was lined with lead.
Number 4. Christopher Lee, The Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King.
Christopher Lee, who played the villainous Saruman, was an essential part of the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
In the third film, he was supposed to meet his end in a dramatic climax. However, during the editing process, director Peter Jackson found that it didn't quite fit the narrative they had already set.
I will not be held prisoner here.
Thus, his swan song was removed, to the dismay of both fans and Lee himself. He was understandably confused, feeling it was important plot-wise.
And when the third film came on, I couldn't believe what I saw, because I wasn't in it.
Some folks even started a petition in protest. While his part was included in the much longer extended edition, some can't help but wish it had made it to the theatre as well.
Save your pity and your mercy! I have no use for it!
Number 3. Shailene Woodley, The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Besides Gwen Stacy, Mary Jane Watson was supposed to be a keen player in the Amazing Spider-Man series. When Shailene Woodley was rumoured to have the part in movie 2, many were excited to see her play off of Andrew Garfield, and indeed, she shot some scenes.
One day I'm gonna explode, and I'm gonna obliterate everything in my wake, and I don't know, I feel like it's my responsibility to minimize the casualties.
However, the director eventually made the call to put the focus entirely on Peter and Gwen, erasing MJ from the story.
I didn't get love vibe last night. I got more of a wants to kill me with his electricity vibe.
That's actually kind of what it's like to love you.
Thankfully, the decision ended up working out, with viewers largely loving the central pair's romance. Still, it might have been fun to see how Woodley would fit into the universe. However, the actress seemed to totally understand the creative choice, and had nothing but good things to say about the series.
New characters, it really didn't make sense to introduce such a vital character to the comic books in a movie that had so much else going on.
Number 2. Mickey Rourke, The Thin Red Line. Some filmmakers add a lot at first, and wind up editing extensively later on. This was the case for Terrence Malick with The Thin Red Line, which at one point boasted several additional A-list celebrities.
I've been in the Army, 6 years now? And about time you smartened up, stop being such a punk recruit.
However, many of these stars had their scenes reduced or removed entirely, and this included Mickey Rourke. He was reportedly offended, as he felt that he had produced some of his finest material. He also implied that his part was axed for political reasons, rather than professional ones.
I don't think you understand what's going on down here, sir.
Rourke was still seen on the big screen in other 90s flicks, like Buffalo 66, but we imagine this had to have hurt.
I know what you're thinking, the story's hard to believe, right?
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honourable mentions. Ashley Judd, Natural Born Killers. Her character Grace only made the director's cut.
Okay, I killed my husband, I chopped him up into little bits, and I dumped him piece by piece into the Pacific. Are you satisfied?
Paul Rudd, Bridesmaids. He gave a great, hilarious performance that was removed to maintain the flow of the story.
What happened? What happened to you?
My shoulder stinks.
Oh, the big deal. This is bleeding.
Sienna Miller, Black Mass. She was going to play a criminal's girlfriend, but the part was cut in post.
You don't think that colour's a little bit intense?
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Harrison Ford, E.T. the Extraterrestrial.
I see you fine young people from good homes, every advantage, your whole life laid out in front of you.
Some actors have so much star power that even a single cameo could overshadow the rest of the film. By the time E.T. the Extraterrestrial came out, Harrison Ford had already proven himself as a box office champion with his roles in the Star Wars and Indiana Jones series. He was cast in the Alien flick as Elliot's principal, but Steven Spielberg had a change of heart, and the cameo appearance ended up on the cutting room floor.
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
The moment lives on as a bonus feature, but hasn't been added to re-releases. Making that call can't have been easy, but ultimately Spielberg likely did what he thought was best, and there's no denying E.T. is an iconic movie. Have any of your favourite actors had their characters cut from films?
I'm erasing you and I'm happy!
Let us know in the comments below.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.